Hi, Candy McCune here. I want to share some information with you today from this booklet about selenium. But since we are now doing videos, I want to tell you they're also searchable by Searchio.io, and it also gives us a transcript. So if you don't want to be jotting down, I'm going to give you a lot of scientific information. You can absolutely end up just listening and then get the transcript later. All right. There's a lot that I want to share, and it's about the importance of selenium. So I want to give you a little more information. What has Dr. Wallach done to help you be able to share about it? Well, listen to Dr. Gerhard Schrauzer. He's the subject of the book I showed you. Professor, researcher, inventor, and author, and director of San Diego-based Biological Trace Element Research Journal, a scientific journal. But he's also been included in the top 100 chemists of all times and one of the most highly published and quoted scientists of our time. So that means listen up. In an interview, and I am quoting from the transcription of the Schrauzer files. That's the booklet. It's no longer in print. It was an interview done of Dr. Gerhard Schrauzer, and he shared this information. The FDA, Food and Drug Administration, does not allow anyone to make a health claim about anything. You could say, for example, that selenium helps against certain forms of cancer, unless you could prove it. Now, they demand sufficient scientific evidence. So, under the recommendations of Dr. Wallach, both he and Dr. Wallach accumulated approximately 500 scientific papers and submitted them to the FDA. They were able to get approval for 2 health claims. The first one is that selenium can reduce the risk of certain forms of cancer. And the second is that selenium produces anti-cancer substances in the human organism. Well, this is a quite significant achievement, and it's purely altruistic because other companies may use this kind of information. When you get an FDA claim, that's what happens. But at least now we can help people recognize the value of selenium. And I think this is most important because the intake of selenium in many populations is insufficient, according to Dr. Schrauzer, to maximize its protective effects. He talks about the destructive oxygen radicals. You've heard that before from me, that attack anything, proteins, fats, even DNA. He uses the full technical description of these things to detail how it happens. But the summary ending is that the enzymes, several enzymes in our body, and the ones that are produced by our body, can prevent the damages by the oxidizing radicals. But here's the key. They need selenium to be able to do their work. And our body does not make selenium. Just because it's called a trace mineral, that does not mean it's trivial or small, which is what I thought in the beginning. Major minerals are minerals that really are needed in relatively large quantities in our body. And you can see a list of those. Trace minerals are minerals that your body needs in relatively small or trace quantities. And you can see those. So it's not that they're not important. They just aren't needed in large quantities. There's one important piece of Dr. Schrauzer's interview that I think is important to share with you. And it's an explanation of what he and other leading scientists recommend in dosage. While the recommended dietary allowances are now around 50 to 55 micrograms per day, he and other leading scientists are actually saying the human body needs 300 to 350 micrograms per day. He says this is actually recognized by our governmental agencies as being safe to have higher doses. Now, here are Dr. Schrauzer's words. And this is why I am recommending, he says, based on our work on cancer, that our selenium intake should in fact reach that level of 300 to 350 micrograms a day. He goes on to share in this book, in this interview, why he knows this. It's based on collecting blood from many countries and populations where specific cancers are low. They all have quite nice selenium levels, as he says it, in their blood. Whereas in countries where you had just 50 to 100 micrograms a day of selenium, these types of cancer were invariably quite high, according to him. There's just so much more in this interview, but it's very technical in its nature and its terms. But you do need to know this. This booklet is out of print, and I don't know where you can find a copy. So that's why I'm sharing this here. But my lawyers want you to know, yeah, my lawyers want you to know that it is for informational purposes only and not intended as a claim to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent, or mitigate any disease or illness. Have to say that, you know. Longevity products are designed to support and promote various healthy body functions. That's what we need to do to speak about it correctly. But I'm leading you to a very good, concise, and helpful blog that's written by the content management specialist at Longevity. Her name is Rocio Ramos. If you are following Longevity's health blogs at all, you may see her name there often because she's been with Longevity since 2012. But she cites her research sources within this blog, and it'll be a download just below here. I'm going to provide it to you along with Dr. Schrauzer's quote that I shared. Now, just one last piece of information that might be helpful. If you're taking the 90 for Life Healthy Body Start Pack, and in that is the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0, if you look at the label, has 100 micrograms of selenium. So if you'd like to add on selenium to reach the levels Dr. Schrauzer's is discussing, you can look at the Ultimate Selenium, and you'll see that in Rocio Ramos's blog. I've added 3 per day to my own personal regimen. So scroll down and get that download and find out what else selenium does for you. Things like support of a healthy immune system and in the area of heart disease, along with antioxidation. That's all in addition to the cancer area of concern. So this is Candy McCune, your guide to better health. And remember, education empowers you to engage better health. Scroll down and give me a comment and let me know what else you would like to hear about and what you think of today's. Thank you.